Outsourcing. Massive buzzword that means a lot of different things. When you're hiring a freelancer, you're technically outsourcing that task. Outsourcing also typically has the connotation of hiring outside of your home country, typically for a lower rate. And what happens when a service provider outsources? Say, like when a freelancer says that they personally will do the work and then they are outsourcing to someone else. This is a messy and vitally important subject that I think impacts everyone who is participating in the gig economy, whether you are hiring freelancers and you're outsourcing your tasks, or if you are a freelancer who is being outsourced to. And as I walk through all of these different options for scaling and outsourcing to a team, I challenge you to ask a really difficult question. Even if it's not directly considered exploitation, is it still promoting inequality? Let me say this loud and clear. It is possible to build a successful business and scale without doing harm, cheating, lying, manipulating, or exploiting. Yikes, that was a super serious intro. Hey, I'm Carrie. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome for the very first time. All around, welcome. I'm Carrieblogger, a career freelancer on Fiverr.com, where I have been selling as a Fiverr Pro verified copywriter for about the past 8 years. And in today's Freelance Friday video, I'm going to be ranking freelance outsource strategies on a scale. From smart to scam, from problematic to ethical. Let's see where all of these line up. But before we can get into that, I have to announce this week's Blogger of the Week. If you would like to be the Blogger of the Week, just like Baxum, and I have no idea if I'm saying that right, all you have to do is drop a comment down below and you might get picked. If it ever looks like I'm crying, I swear I'm not that emotionally overwhelmed with this topic, although it is a very serious topic. My allergies are just so bad right now, so please forgive anything you see up here. So I have talked to several other freelancers who are either being outsourced to or currently do outsourcing. And I wanted to get a scope of kind of the broader picture of what's happening in the gig economy under this giant umbrella term called outsourcing. I'm lawful good through and through. Where are my Dungeons and Dragon peeps at, hey? Collective altruism is the goal. Honest transparency is my life motto. I personally set really high standards for myself, and I try to think critically about, am I creating a positive impact for the world? Am I delivering real value? Am I doing something that I'm genuinely proud of and feel good about? And whether it's totally misguided or not, expect that from the rest of the world too. We're gonna start on the ethical side of the industry today because we all need a little lightness in our life, and trust me, things are going to go dark and downhill real fast. On the far left of our outsourcing spectrum, we have what I call the A team. This is pretty much what I consider to be peak ethical outsourcing. In this case, the A team is a collective, if you will. It's an agency, a team of true professionals. They're all paid equal rates for their professionalism and work as true collaborators on this. And there is a person who is the head, who is earning a little bit more money for being the point person, but they are not overwhelmingly out-earning their fellow team members. And the second most important thing that puts us on the far left of our scale is that the A team brands themselves as a true team. They're leveraging their collective status as a transparent tool to deliver more value for their clients. Sliding in just slightly on our scale with the freelancing model, we have the lone wolf. Yeah, that's me. Every single interaction is me. From the initial messages to the order management to the actual delivery of the work to any potential revisions needed. Literally every time a client interacts with me and is being promised that they will interact with me, it truly is me. Personally, I consider this to be freelancing in its most pure form. So why did I not put my personal method even on the top end of my ethical scale? If I'm thinking critically and really calling myself out here, sometimes I do wonder if I am being a little bit selfish in my business model. Am I potentially hoarding all of this work for myself? Am I limiting what I am capable of and what I am capable of achieving for my clients because I am currently, at least, unwilling to bring on another team member? Next up, also near the top, we have what I will call the bat signal. In this case, a freelancer or an agency has contracted another seller to come on and join their team for a project. They either don't have the specialized expertise that they need to outsource and bring someone else in for, or they are overworked and literally can't handle the project. So they hire another freelancer to jump in. They're not being paid their full normal rate that they may have charged if they were hired independently by the end client. And the client is essentially paying extra for the overhead of the agency or the head freelancer who's doing the hiring. Why are they being rewarded for that? If they didn't actually have the skill set to accomplish what was promised for the client, why didn't they say that? If they have such poor time management skills that they became overworked and were unable to do the work that was promised, why are they being paid for that? Should they not have just referred the client to the outsourced friend who they knew was capable of accomplishing that work rather than taking them on the side and then also taking a slice of the pie for themselves? In defense of this position, the person that I spoke with mentioned that it does kind of have a rising tide floats all boats kind of situation, and that it does allow agencies and freelancers to share work among each other. And with respectful payment, it can be an effective way to build networks together. Okay, now we're quickly entering the gray zone here. Let's call this one the front man. The front man is really hesitant to tell you that they outsource, and they will only do so when hard pressed because they say, I'll do this for you. It is their face that is doing all the hard work, and it is their portfolio samples that they are showing to prospective clients. But what they really mean is that a team member will do this for you, and they'll be delivering work with a quality and style that you haven't seen before because you haven't seen their portfolio. Technically, the front man does kind of put their reputation on the line. There's a little bit of risk associated with that, and they are on the hook to choose freelancers to outsource to who they theoretically can trust. But on the flip side of that, that also means that the front man is leveraging their position and their privilege to make further gains. In this particular case, the person I spoke with didn't tell me exactly how much they're paying their outsourced talent, but they did say that they personally feel that they pay them well and that they do offer them bonuses for a job well done, which is their attempt to kind of even the scales a little bit. And another issue to bring up here is that the person who is working underneath at the bottom of this totem pole here doesn't have the right to use that work in their own portfolios moving forward, which can make it very difficult or even just confusing if and when they choose to break out on their own. If a ghost writer writes for a ghost writer, then who owns the content? Next up is the passive money grab. Just like the front man, there is absolutely no reference to a team in their personal marketing and branding, and you will never know that they outsource. This person frequently has to manage cancellations due to poor work because they outsource pretty much every step of this process. From a virtual assistant who answers messages, to 4 outsourced writers who actually complete the work, to an editor who then edits and proofreads the work that someone else produced. All of that, of course, is sold and wrapped up under the guise of one person's smiling face. That smiling face is who clients think that they're working with. And guess what that main person's smiling face is worth? They earn approximately 70% and only pay their outsourced talent who is actually producing the work 30%. This person earns $20,000 every single month based on outsourced work alone. And when asked, the person said that their primary focus was just scaling, literally just building the business to earn as much passive income as possible. So personally, I feel like this is where things go from questionable to just fully inappropriate. And you might feel differently. Let me know in the comments below if you think I'm just overreacting to this. So following up very similarly, but I would say scaled to the extreme, is what I will call the full out scam artist. This is a bigger problem, but in the, affiliate marketer, online guru, ClickFunnels, thought leader, hustle culture that we've got going on the internet, which you guys all know I'm not a fan of in the slightest, there is this greed-driven competition to earn as much money as possible, doing the least amount of work as possible. And that passive income comes at pretty much any cost as long as you are not the one paying that cost. Through personal stories with freelancers that I have spoken to, I've heard a precedent of business owners creating cheap LLC businesses in the US, regardless of whether they live here or not, and promoting themselves as a US-based creative agency. In reality, it is really one person, the hustler guru, who is leading the whole venture, with a bunch of virtual assistants who are soliciting the absolute cheapest freelance labor that they can find at the absolute lowest price possible. The US agency creates this illusion of security for potential clients, and in most cases validates a skyrocketing high price point. All of that, of course, is a lie. They might be charging $500 for a logo design, and behind the scenes could be paying the worker $2. And in the person's local economy, who is being outsourced to, that could potentially be a livable wage for them. But why do they merely have to survive simply because they were born in a poorer country, while you profit exponentially off of their work? What it comes down to is we have to pay people fairly because quality work done in other countries is just as valuable. So I'm going to end that rant right there with a little reminder that we all need to hear. Dr. Seuss said it best. A person's a person, no matter whether they're a US freelancer or not. So, how do you scale and outsource ethically and stay on the correct side of that scale? Personally, I found this really thoughtful article by Yaro Starak, which I will have linked in the description below if you're interested in reading up on that. He essentially summed it up as this, which I wholeheartedly agree with. You need to pay outsourced talent based on the benefit that you gain from them, not what a fair wage is based on the economy where they live. And I would say that the same is true even with outsourcing to a team of local providers who do live in the same economy as you. Because if your gains are completely overwhelming yours, let's say 70% to 30%, I think it's time for an ethical reevaluation of why that may or may not be fair. So I really hope that this video shed some light on the gig economy, how it functions in all of these different spaces, especially within those scaling and outsourcing terms. This is basically how it's functioning right now across that scale, and I think that a lot of those really problematic things are holding us all back. Thank you so much for watching. If you're still here, you know you're my actual hero. Thank you so, so much. If you haven't subscribed yet and you enjoy this content, please do be sure to subscribe. It's completely free. Drop a like, drop a comment, let me know what you thought. I know this is a big, heavy topic. I hope I did it justice. I hope I provided a pretty fair assessment of what's going on, but I think this is the discussion we all need to have. Remember, you are worth so much more than your workload. So, so true. And let's get back to work.